Welcome to 21st Sports Recap and Reaction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Philadelphia Eagles in their Week 11 matchup played on November 22nd, 2015. We're going to go over the scores and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis. So starting off in the first quarter, in just 3.5 minutes into this game, Mark Sanchez hit Josh Huff for a 39-yard touchdown, and with the extra point by Caleb Sturgis, it was 7-0 Eagles over the Buccaneers. But then with less than 3 minutes left still in the first, Jameis Winston connected with Mike Evans for a 4-yard touchdown. Connor Barth hit the extra point, and this game was tied up at 7 apiece. So that was the score after the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, just seconds into the second quarter, Jameis Winston hit Vincent Jackson for a 13-yard touchdown pass. Barth added the extra point, and now the Buccaneers were in the lead for the first time in this game, up 14-7. Then, with about 8 minutes left before halftime, Jameis Winston threw his third touchdown pass of the game. This one to Russell Shepard, a 4-yard touchdown, and with the extra point by Barth, the Buccaneers were now ahead 21-7. But then with 6 minutes still left in the second quarter, the Eagles responded with a 35-yard touchdown by Darren Sproles as he caught the pass from Mark Sanchez. And then Caleb Sturgis added the extra point, and it was back to a 7-point game with the Buccaneers still ahead 21-14. And then with just over a minute left to play in the first half, Jameis Winston threw his fourth touchdown pass of the first half as he connected with Charles Sims for a 14-yard touchdown. 4 touchdowns, 4 different receivers. Connor Barth hits the extra point, and now it was 28-14 as the Buccaneers were back up by 2 scores. So that was the score at halftime. Then in the third quarter, with a little over 5 minutes still left in the third, Jameis Winston threw his 5th touchdown pass of the game, tying a rookie record set by Matthew Stafford. This one was a touchdown to Cameron Brate, an 8-yard touchdown pass. Barth added the extra point, and the Buccaneers were now ahead 35-14 as they extended their lead to 21. So that was the score after 3 quarters of play. Then in the fourth, about 3 minutes in, Connor Barth hit his first field goal of the game, a 28-yarder, and it was now 38-14. The Eagles would get a field goal of their own with just over 5 minutes still left in this game as Caleb Sturgis hit a 43-yard field goal to make it 38-17. And then with about a little over 4 minutes left, Levante David picked off Sanchez, ran it back 20 yards for the pick 6, and with the extra point by Connor Barth, it was now 45-17 as the Buccaneers win in a rout over the Eagles. And in this game, Doug Martin was having a huge performance. Of course, the big performance by Jameis Winston. But Doug Martin, the muscle hamster, he was setting up a lot of those touchdowns as he was bringing them into the red zone. He had some huge runs in this game, including an 84-yard run. He actually had 235 yards rushing as he fell just 2 yards shy of Barry Sanders' record of 237 yards in a game without a touchdown. So Martin getting a lot of yards in this one, but not getting into the end zone, but he was putting them on the doorstep, and Winston was getting them into the end zone, those 5 touchdowns, and the Buccaneers defense shutting down the Philadelphia Eagles. The Buccaneers are now 5-5 on the season. That has them in third place in the NFC South, but now with the loss by Atlanta, they're just a game out of second place. Of course, the Panthers lead the division over the Bucs by 5 games and over the Falcons by 4 games as they're 10-0. And the Eagles had a chance to be tied for first place in the NFC East, but with the loss, that puts them at 4-6, and they are a game behind the Giants, tied with the Redskins for second there in the East. Of course, the Cowboys just a game behind them, and the Eagles are now 2-3 at home on the season as they fall under 500, and the Buccaneers are now 3-2 on the road as they go above 500, and they forced 4 turnovers in this game as their defense was coming up big, as well as their offense. as they had a phenomenal performance on the road in this game. And Jameis Winston, 19 for 29, 246 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. Doug Martin, 27 carries for 235 yards. And then we also on the receiving end, Mike Evans, 4 receptions for 63 yards and a touchdown. Vincent Jackson, 4 receptions for 56 yards and a touchdown. Brait with 3 receptions for 47 yards and a touchdown. Sims with 3 receptions for 27 yards and a touchdown. He also had 10 carries for 43 yards, which brought his total in this game to 69 yards. And Shepard also had a touchdown. That was his only reception of the game. And for the Eagles, Mark Sanchez, 26 for 41, 261 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. DeMarco Murray, 13 carries for 64 yards. And Brent Selleck had 7 receptions for 79 yards. Darren Sproles had 6 carries for 21 yards and 3 receptions for 38 yards, giving him 59 yards on the game. He also had a receiving touchdown. Huff had 1 catch, a 39-yard touchdown. Look at the kickers. Connor Barth, 1 for 1 on the field goal, 6 for 6 on the extra points. Caleb Sturgis, 1 for 1 on the field goal, 2 for 2 on the extra points. Let me look at the defense for Tampa Bay. Conti had an interception. Levante David had 2 interceptions, one of which he returned to the house for the pick 6. Goldston forced a fumble. Jones had a sack. McCoy had 1.5 sacks. And Smith had a half sack as well. And for Philadelphia, Thurman had a sack and a forced fumble. And Kendricks forced a fumble as well. Let me look at the team stats. 25 first downs for the Bucs. 21 first downs for the Eagles. On third down, the Buccaneers were 10 for 16, converting at a rate of 62%. And for the Eagles, 7 of 15, 46% conversion rate. The Buccaneers did go for it once on fourth down, and they did convert 100% on fourth down. And on the net yards in this game, 521 for Tampa Bay, 383 for Philadelphia. Net rushing yards, 283 for the Buccaneers, 136 for the Eagles. Net passing yards, 247 for Philadelphia, 238 for Tampa Bay. And then we look at the penalties in this game. 9 penalties against the Buccaneers, 82 penalty yards. 5 penalties against the Eagles, 25 penalty yards. The Buccaneers did have 3 fumbles, but they only lost 1, whereas the Eagles had 1 fumble, which they did lose. We look at the red zone, 5 for 6 for the Buccaneers, 83%. The Eagles did not make any trips to the red zone in this game. 0%, 0 for 0. And the time of possession, 35 minutes, 54 seconds for Tampa Bay, 24 minutes and 6 seconds for the Eagles. And of course, that's been a season-long reoccurrence. But Tampa Bay, a very dominant performance in this game on the road as they get a big win. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend and enjoyed all the sports.